Hey guys, welcome back to the Foolish Show. Of course, I am Foolish Phil. Just gonna give you some of my Michigan versus Indiana thoughts after the game was over several hours ago. If you watched my videos earlier from last week, I mentioned I had to go to a wedding today and was not gonna be able to watch the game live. I did it, man. I made it through the wedding, the ceremony, the reception, all that. Didn't have my phone on for any of that stuff. I did not want to have anyone like blurting out the score or anything. And I made it home and worked my way through the game. and and I'm sitting there, I'm like, what is going on? What is going on with Michigan? What's going on? I'm like, I'm just kind of worried because I don't want to look at my phone, right? Like, is my phone blown up with text messages or anything like that? Like, Michigan's come out and just laid a complete egg in the first quarter, man. It's like out yardage 141-17, down 7-0. Indiana is stuffing everything Michigan's doing. Their Jackson quarterback is just hitting wide open wide receivers all the time, all through our shell of a zone defense, trying to, this vanilla defense because Michigan doesn't know what Indiana's going to be doing, so we're just playing like cover, like just don't give up anything big. It's like terrible defense, the allow defense basically. Now, what is going on? So, I can't look at my phone, because I don't want to spoil the result. But I'm worried. I'm really worried. It's like 7-0. Michigan's playing terrible. And so, after the game's over, it's like, I look back, like, it's like, you know what it was, really? It's probably like Michigan, man. We've had this dreary, cold, wet weather since, like, Thursday. It started around here, man. And it's like, on these days, they're just the perfect days. You just want to take naps. And that must be it. Michigan just was like sleeping. He didn't like realize, hey, wait, we're playing a noon game. Because after the first quarter, after the Indiana domination, Michigan just completely flipped the script. Michigan just 52-0. 52-0 after the first quarter. Michigan put up 52 points in 3 quarters. Michigan's offense, which is geared towards the run, put up 52 points. Now, obviously, some of that has to do with short fields. Michigan forced 4 turnovers, 2 fumbles, 2 picks. Excellent job on that. I really like how Fox brought out the turnover buffs. They actually talked about it and they showed it. I don't remember them doing that yet this year, so that's really cool that they emphasized that. And so, 52 points unanswered from the end of the first quarter till the till the last drive by Indiana. Michigan gave up 40 yards in 2.5 quarters. Basically, second, third, and like most of the fourth quarter, Michigan gave up 40 yards. That's a turnaround, man. It's like Michigan's like, what's going on here, man? What are we doing? I'm sure there's something to it where Michigan knew Indiana was not going to be the hardest team to defeat. And they also had the X factor of coming off a bye week. They had an all-new offensive coordinator at Indiana. And so you still didn't know exactly what they were going to be running. They had a dual threat quarterback and they had the regular quarterback. They played both quarterbacks. So Michigan had some things to work through. And as Jesse Minter is off to do, gets things figured out, just like Minnesota ran on Michigan the first couple of series, and then Michigan figured it out, had to change some things up. Here, Michigan, again, got it figured out, easily won the game. You gotta love it when I'm upset that JJ's still in the game in the third quarter. Like, he took that quarterback run play at the end there, his last snap. What was that play called? You see Jim Harbaugh, like, swearing after he took that hit. I'm assuming he was supposed to throw the ball. I really hope it wasn't a quarterback keeper up the middle. You don't need JJ getting any hits like that when you're up 38-7 or whatever it was at that point. Like, no. Like, put in Tuttle. When you're up by 31 points in the third quarter, your quarterback should be out. And, like, luckily he didn't get hurt. Okay. So, just a couple of things. I mean, it's just domination. Again. And for the first time since 1975, I saw this at the end of the Fox broadcast, Michigan has scored over 50 points in back-to-back Big Ten games against an opponent. It's the first time since 1955. That one was Northwestern and Indiana, I think it was. 69 points against Northwestern and 55 against Indiana. So, Michigan, for all my fear and dread, is like doing things that only happen like every half a century. So it's pretty cool that way. Oh, I gotta just nitpick a little bit, just kind of doing my little breakdown things. I think the huge turning point in this game, Indiana, I still think it was 14-7. I think it was 14-7. I think it was 14-7. 14-7. Indiana had a pass, a deep pass. Michigan's defender got lost, 37-yard pass, something like that. And it got called back on an offensive lineman, Carpenter, former Michigan lineman who transferred to Indiana. I wonder if he regrets that, but regardless. And he went, got his hand up on 99's face mask, rightly called, took a chunk play away from Indiana, pushed them back 15 yards, had to punt, right? So instead of a big play out towards like midfield, you're still in the game, you're still down one score, it's 14-7. Instead of that, Michigan gets the punt. Then you have Morris who lets the ball. It's rainy, it's windy. I'm not fielding punts, so don't get me wrong. But it's like he lets the ball bounce. It bounces like 15 yards back. But then he makes a sweet juke move, cuts upfield, and gets a good return. I think 28-yard return, something like that. So Michigan's set up at midfield about. First play, JJ is doing some zone quarterback RPO thing. He holds it and runs. And for how often Indiana seemed to really crash down on the running backs. That run play didn't work extremely well like I thought it would. It just was not as effective as I thought. But JJ gets tackled after like a 1 or 2 yard loss, and the defender, maybe he was a little hurt, like pulled his hammy or something. A guy ran into him, so maybe that was just the pain. But he, for whatever reason, swung JJ by the horse collar back off of him into the ground. There's another 15-yard personal foul. And Michigan's right in prime business. They had 2 timeouts left. They score a touchdown. They go up 21-7 right at halftime. That huge turn of events there. 2 personal fouls, then the big punt return in there completely flipped this game. Michigan might have won, dominating anyways, but it took a 14-7 game and gave Michigan a 21-7 lead at halftime. Michigan got the ball in the second half and boom, went down 28-7, 35-7, 38-7. Boom, 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 boom. Michigan, I think, scored on every possession up until from when they started scoring to the very last snap of the game where they, just did a run up the middle and just ran out the last 5 seconds of the clock. So talk about turning it on. Touchdown, 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 field goal, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Great. Another thing, I really felt good for Donovan Edwards. I feel bad for him, kind of the same way I feel bad for Cornelius Johnson. Johnson doesn't get many touchdowns. It seems like it's Roman Wilson who's the one who gets open. And again, he got completely wide open. So did Loveland there on that Wilson's touchdown. And, I just feel bad for Johnson that he doesn't seem to get to the end zone. But it's a team game. But I was really glad that Edwards got a touchdown. And I think you just see the joy of that. You see the teammates celebrating. You see Corum on the sideline getting all pumped up. You saw, JJ obviously all pumped up about that. I loved how JJ fired up Tuttle when he was going to come into the game, too. This is your chance. You're playing against the team you left. Prove to them how good you are. So really good camaraderie there, but really glad that Edwards got that touchdown. And Edwards is so important, man. I know he might not be getting the rushing yards this year. That's okay, man. It's okay. His effectiveness out of the backfield is so important for this team. Second drive, it's 7-7. Michigan's kind of backed up. Corum ran for 2 yards, and it's then another run, and it's third and long. And JJ gets the ball, and everything's kind of covered. And what does he see? He sees Edwards open over the middle, gives him the ball. Boom, he makes a juke move. Boom, boom, boom. Instead of tackled short of the first down marker, he boom goes for 17 yards, first down, and Michigan carries the momentum. Gets a touchdown on that drive. Gets up 14-7. His effectiveness as a receiver is so important to this team. It really is. I mean, he just needs a little bit more. It's just everything has to work together. When there are holes there, it's then they'll, last week they showed a great highlight of this on IMGO blog. There was a touchdown play there, but Roman Wilson just did a weak block on a cornerback, and he got Edwards, would have been a touchdown. And so you just really need everything to work great to hit those big, long plays. And, Michigan's line is not there yet. Michigan has not hit a big touchdown run, to my knowledge, off the top of my head. I can't think of them hitting a 30, 40-yard even touchdown run this year. Everything's been not super long, and it's going to come. We hope that it will come, right? But that happened in the big games. Penn State, Ohio State, Purdue in the Big Ten title game, right? That's when you saw those big plays, and you think Edwards is going to get those all the time, but it doesn't work that way. The line has to give him better holes, and the wide receivers have to block. So that's just something good. I'm glad he got a touchdown. Really like him. I really hope he comes back for his senior year, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Oh, let's see here. Oh, of course. How could I forget about talking about JJ? I know my video is running long, so thanks guys for sticking with me. 14 of 17 for 222 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, just his mobility. Sometimes he makes plays like, man, don't take that hit. Like on that scramble I talked about his last play of the game, like, man, don't take that hit. But then you see those other ones where he scrambles and he's actually running the correct way. And he pointed to Love, like, go, go, and he gives him a perfect little lob pass, catches it, he runs it the rest of the way for a nice, like, 50-yard touchdown there. He did a great job. He was running offhand, and he shoveled it to Edwards again. Edwards being open for a big first down there to get to, like, end goal. And the Michigan powered it in. Corum got one of his 2 touchdowns on that drive. JJ's mobility is what makes this team potentially elite, right? Because he can run the ball. He can make those plays. He has that it factor. He can just make those plays. You're going to have those games where he's going to make, like, where was that pass going? Like he doesn't see a lineman or a linebacker or whatever, like in the Bowling Green game. But you know what? Then you see, like, outside that Bowling Green game, he's been playing spectacularly well for, like, all these other games. So keep it up, JJ. Just love watching him play, and he just plays really hard, and he plays with joy, and that's so fun to watch. He's not going to put up the super stats like, you know, your other high quarterback ranking guys and potential Heisman race, but he leads this team, and he's a great leader, and I'm just really glad we have him on our team. Hey guys, I'm sorry that, you know, my video kept going. It seems like 12 minutes right now, sorry. But just another dominating win, and what can you say? Just so glad to watch this team. They're so much fun to watch. I just love it. And I just love, too, that backups did not give up that last second touchdown. Kept it at 7 points, man. They battled and they held out Indiana. Took them to step out of bounds, don't get me wrong, but they did. And we held them out, so that's great. Whew. Long-winded. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any thoughts you want to put in, any thoughts you want to say, put them in the box and I'll try to respond as I'm able to. Until next time, as always, thanks for watching and go Blue!